Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy, what is today? Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. I'm Manila Chan. Ted Rall is on the potty break. Producer Robbie in the house. Hello, Robbie.
Howdy. How y'all doing?
We got our favorite regular guest, Dr. Reese Halter, joining us on the back half of the show. I'm not going to say what Robbie says he was doing in the little intermission between Deprogram and TMI.
Yeah.
But it's funny. You're tuned into the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short, because we bring you way too much information Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Please be sure to hit the like, the share, the follow button, the subscribe, all that good stuff, and drop us a line. We're just a few. How many are we away, Robbie, from hitting the metric?
We are 10 away, and Putinbot Gaming is 16 away. So we are in spitting
Woo! That's awesome. All like just outside of the first week of July for their new metric requirement to keep us in the creator program. Woo! So that's really good. Thank you guys for showing up for us and all the shy people at least saying hi. So with that, Ted's taking longer on the pooper. So I'm gonna start the story. Yeah, I'm gonna start the story without him because we only have roughly 25 minutes before Dr. Reese joins us. And we're going to talk to Dr. Reese about, sadly, a place that I fell in love with last year, Iceland, going back to whaling. Ted be back. So Dr. Reese is really angry about the whaling, and I'm really sad that it's in my new favorite place, Iceland. So we'll be talking to Dr. Reese about that in the back half of the show.
Well, oil is cheaper than natural gas right now. People are going to do what they got to do to survive. If you're going to live in a cold place that's inhospitable, then you have to make a choice.
Know.
Are you going? Is the cute animal that will sink your fishing ship more important than keeping your families warm at night?
Well, that's not what they're doing, though. That's not what they're doing. They're selling the whales to Japan because Japan has an insatiable appetite for fucking whales.
Yeah, well, it's both. The Icelanders keep the oil, and they sell the blubber to the Japanese. The Japanese also do the shark fin soup. They catch sharks, cut the sharks the fins off, and then just drop them to the water.
I know. Oh,
it's charming.
Japanese are brutal people.
Yeah, Robbie can give you a whole anthology of when Japan decided to fight China. He can tell you all about it.
Oh, that's not a pretty thing.
No, I mean the Nazis could have sat down and took some really hard lessons. Now, Germany gets all the bad PR. The Japanese were objectively much worse.
That's true.
Historically speaking, it's gruesome. All right, so with that, let's hop to the news. All right, Ted, are we ready to say "I told you so" to all the naysayers about Monaco, the Monaco bombing?
We're always ready to, it's the most annoying thing in the world. No one likes it, but when you're in that position, you can't help yourself. You got to do it.
Just for all the naysayers, this is I'm sorry to say, Ted and I,
we're not
sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah.
We're not sorry. We were right again.
Not at all.
We were right again. The Monaco bombing tied to Ukraine. So here's the latest. So last week, you guys might remember the attempted assassination. Attempted because the dude survived. The Ukrainian-born businessman Vadym Yermolaiev stunned the tiny principality. Yes, stunned the tiny principality of Monaco. A remotely detonated parcel-bomb tore through a luxury apartment, critically injuring Yermolaiev and his partner and their 13-year-old son. Just to be clear, when they say partner, they mean his girlfriend. So,
so you're saying he's not a Ukrainian gay guy?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
No. They meant his.
I mean, not that it really matters, but whatever. Okay.
And they have a kid together, 13-year-old son.
But
authorities
they're not married?
I guess not. They said his partner. I don't know.
So they're sluts.
Possibly just living in sin for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Authorities quickly identified 39-year-old Ukrainian national Anastasia Berezhovska as the prime suspect, prompting an Interpol red notice and a Europe-wide manhunt. It should be woman hunt.
To be clear, we're not talking about the band from New York, Interpol.
No. No. No, this was a Europe-wide woman hunt. So now the story takes a darker turn. Ukrainian authorities say Berezovska has been found dead near Kyiv, shot in the head, bang, bang, couple of times. 2 men have been arrested in connection with her murder, a former police officer and alleged intel officer now, and more significantly, a current serving officer, a higher ranking officer in Ukraine's military intelligence service known as the HUR. Prosecutors say investigators traced repeated crypto and bank transfers between those men and the woman before this Monaco bombing. So they were paying her, obviously. One of the suspects had admitted to killing her.
I don't know if people understand that crypto is not anonymous.
Yes. One of the suspects, which is the current high-ranking officer, he claims that he acted on his own, ordering this woman. It wasn't an order from his superiors, he says. Likely story, Ted.
It was just for fun. It was freelance.
He was just, that's what he's saying, that he freelanced, booked this woman to do it, and then killed her.
Who doesn't just have their occasional freelance assassination that happens to align with your boss's national interests?
I mean, Ted, when you want to score brownie points and maybe get a promotion,
yep,
you dress for the job you want, Ted.
Fake it until you make it. Yeah.
So, he's saying his bosses didn't order this. He just chose to do it. Prosecutors say investigators traced repeated crypto bank transfers for weeks or whatever. So they're already, on the backstory of this. So the narrative leaves all these currently unanswered questions. Yermolaiev was no ordinary businessman. Once one of Ukraine's wealthiest developers, he was sanctioned by Kyiv in 2023 over alleged business ties to the Russian-occupied Crimea. Allegations he denies. I'm sure he's not telling the total truth either. But to some in Ukraine, he became a symbol of a businessman viewed as too close to Russian interests during wartime. That background has fueled speculation that this was more than a conventional assassination attempt.
No.
Conventional.
It's more than your garden variety assassination.
Yeah, it's more than the garden variety, Ted. There's more twists and turns.
What real estate developer hasn't been assassinated at least once?
I mean,
it
Ted,
goes with the
Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Donald Trump is a real estate developer.
That's true, and that's why they keep trying to kill him.
But they keep failing. So maybe to survive an assassination plot.
That's because Donald Trump's very wiggly, so he's hard to catch.
Yes. A large target, but very wiggly.
Wiggly.
No public evidence, though. Gotta put that disclaimer in there. No public evidence that either the Security Service of Ukraine or the HUR, so the SBU or HUR, no public evidence that they ordered the Monaco attack or this woman's killing, Berezovska. Investigators have not accused either agency of directing the operation, and the HUR the officer that they captured claims he acted independently. Still, the sequence of events has invited scrutiny. A woman allegedly carries out a sophisticated cross-border bombing, escapes across Europe, returns to Ukraine, and days later found executed. A serving intelligence officer then arrested. Financial links connected to the suspects. Investigators say they're still searching for whoever ultimately ordered the attack. Ted, I feel like he might be in Turkey right now.
Maybe.
Summit.
And his name rhymes with Kotolimir Ketensky.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He might have proclivities with playing the piano with his penis.
Well, again, who hasn't really?
I mean, I guess if I had one, I would probably train mine to do that too.
Mine does.
I
mean, all the time.
If I had one, I might train mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why?
So whether those events,
if you are gay, if you don't play the piano with your penis.
Yeah, I guess every man has tried, right?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Otherwise,
Do we
people are like,
know?
oh, have you done it? And you're like, no, I haven't gotten around to it. Not gotten around
Ted,
to
I
it.
think you
Too
would know
busy
this better
sucking
than me.
penises. What?
Ted, you would know this better than me, but I imagine old Sparky Drew Linus playing his little piano, his little mini piano, right? But it just never made publication. Is that right?
Yeah, well, that's true. I have seen the censored Peanuts cartoons. So
right, he was he wanted Linus to be playing the piano with another body part, but it didn't make print. But Ted knew the man, so Ted's probably seen these.
I didn't edit. I did not edit him, to be clear, though. I joined his. I did work for. It's confusing. I worked for the syndicate that distributed him, but he died. Well, I mean, I guess he was already editing himself by the time he died. Yeah,
he's Charles.
It was weird. I used to go into the syndicate every day, past this 5-foot tall statue of Lucy, and it was all made of nickels because she charged 5 cents for.
Wow, that's a lot of nickels. 5 feet tall of nickels.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, speaking of the money, so maybe they paid this now dead woman with the statue of nickel Lucy's. Could be. Whether those events,
I want the nickels. I don't care about the statue.
Seriously, whether those events point to a freelance conspiracy, organized crime, or something more sophisticated remains unknown. Ted, these Interpol guys, wow.
Yeah, they're really good at their jobs. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But this case illustrates why covert operations are so difficult to untangle. Intelligence services around the world have historically relied on intermediaries, cutouts, and deniable assets precisely because they obscure who is ultimately responsible. Whether that model applies here remains an open question, not a proven conclusion.
Does it really?
Does it? All right. Okay, so for now, the Monaco bombing has evolved from an attempted assassination into an international mystery spanning Monaco, Germany, France, and Ukraine. And until investigators identify who commissioned the attack, speculation is likely to continue filling the gaps left by the evidence. Ooh, who done it?
I was gonna say, I don't think this is like this is one that you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes.
Come on, Hardy boys.
I think even Nancy Drew, who was lamer than the Hardy Boys, could handle this. Yeah.
Okay, I get that the news outlets don't want, they're obviously Ukraine sympathizers, right? So they never want to say Zelensky did anything or the SBU did anything. Like, it's never. But whenever there's speculation that maybe it was the other way around, definitely Vladimir Putin pushed somebody out of a window.
Yeah, that's right.
Immediately. He did it himself. Immediately. So I just wanted to highlight, not only the news update to this, but the crazy biases that are shown across. I mean, this article is like an amalgamation of Reuters and ABC and NBC. So it's a little bit from all these different mainstream outlets. A
little bit of everything and all bullshit.
And it's all we don't know who ordered it.
So
Ted.
Difficult to understand. So hard.
So let me get this straight. Some poor Ukrainian woman, and I say poor because the likelihood is true that she's poor. The vast majority of Ukrainians live just hovering at or above the poverty line, just barely, which is why Ukraine, prior to and currently during the war, why the number one job for Ukrainian women is industrialized scale porn or renting out their uterus for IVF, because it's a poor country and they have no means of, surviving. So a lot of women turn to sex work or renting out their uterus to wealthy Westerners. That's just a matter of fact. I don't care. Forget my background, who I worked for a long time. That has nothing to do with it. It's just a matter of fact. That was the number one industry. So the women aren't nurses. The women aren't school teachers. There's a huge.
Some are.
Some are. No, I'm saying but I'm saying
it's not
the vast.
This is my school.
No.
This is my kid's third grade teacher, and she also sucks.
And she has OnlyFans.
No, it's not like that.
No, she probably has OnlyFans. But I'm just saying that is like a very, very, very common job in Ukraine, is these women turn to those two industries because they're desperate. So this woman that
it's also part
tried
of the
to
reasons why so many Americans find them appealing. It's like, I don't want my favorite OnlyFans actor to be killed. I look forward to seeing her every day.
These people are desperate, and this woman was no different. It's highly unusual to find out that it's a woman that tried to commit this assassination. So, and then they go and off her. But Ted, do you think they offed her? Just they would off anybody because too much, or did they off her because she failed?
Well, both. I mean, she knew too much and she failed, so she had no value whatsoever.
Like why would
she
you
could
go
only
back
be
to your
she could
country?
only be a problem, right?
Yeah, that's what I suspect too. But like, why would she go back to her country?
If she'd succeeded, they might have given her a cool nickname and kept her around. Like, it is Valentina the Knife. Like, or we call her Death Cobra, or whatever.
Sadly, the would-be assassin was assassinated herself. So that's
it's kind of crazy. It's a little bit like Oswald and what's his name who killed him?
Yeah,
Ruby.
So I don't know what else to say other than we told you.
The Le Pen story. We got to do it.
Oh yeah, we got to do that. So there you go. Ted and I are not sorry to say, told you so.
All right, Marine Le Pen's presidential hopes are alive and well. She's now one of the most powerful. Well, she has been one of the most powerful politicians in France. An appeals court in France has reduced the penalties related to her conviction in 2023 over alleged misuse. Well, I guess we can say misuse because she was convicted of EU Parliament funds, which now allows her to run in 2027 at the end of Emmanuel Macron's term. The legal cloud remains, but anyway, politically, she now has the big mo. For years, France has been wrestling with the same kind of politics we're all familiar with: immigration, terrorism, cultural fragmentation, rising cost of living, stagnant wages, and a growing belief that elites don't give a shit about ordinary voters. Her Rassemblement National, the National Rally Party, argues that France has lost controls over its borders, neighborhoods, and economy, as well as its relationship with the EU. That message is popular among certain working class voters, rural communities, and people outside Paris who feel ignored by the elites. Macron has, of course, helped create the problem. To Macron's supporters, called Macronistes, he's a modernizer who defended Europe and kept France globally relevant. To his critics, he became an elite, polished technocrat, pro-EU, who doesn't really give a shit about ordinary people. His pension reforms, cost of living pressures, and immigration fights have all widened the space for Le Pen. Meanwhile, Le Pen has worked for years to distance herself from her party's more extreme roots from her father, who was pro-Vichy, anti-Semitic, Holocaust denial, Nazi apologist. And now it's more of she's worked hard to distance herself from all that to make the party more legit and soften it. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But she's currently favored to win. If the election were tomorrow, she would win. And the thing is, that's been the case now for years. She would have been favored to win last year, the year before. So, I mean, it's hard to see how she loses because she's been in the lead now for years. It's not like a volatile situation, right? I mean, French politics economically, in terms of what issues people are motivated by, and all that, are, people are in the mood for Le Pen. The only thing that can stop her is either some sort of challenge from the right that I can't imagine, or like some kind of new left-wing populist who, again, is not on the scene yet. The biggest name in French politics on the left is Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who is the head of a party called La France Unbowed, La France Insoumise. But he is, he's got this sort of like, it's hard for him to break that 30%, number. He's kind of like a Donald Trump figure. It's hard for him to get there.
On a scale of Robbie, where does Le Pen fall? To the left of Robbie, to the right of Robbie, or right at Robbie?
To the left of Robbie.
She's to the left of Robbie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By French, well, you have to understand, it's still France, okay? So because it's France, a far-right party like Le Pen's still believes in climate change and thinks that it's an important issue, cares about the environment, will not touch national health care, will not touch the retirement age, none of the social guarantees, the social safety net, those things will all stay put. Now, I know Robbie's not against really most of those, but Republicans are. Republicans want to gut Social Security. They want to get rid of welfare. They want to get they hate poor people.
Oh, so the French version, the French version is different than our right.
There's literally no party in France that could get 1% of the vote by being against social programs. You just couldn't. It's like it's all baked in. It's like coming out. It's like coming out in favor of eating puppies in America. You just can't. It's like it's impossible. Or taking a shit on the American flag or whatever. You just can't.
So, Robbie, this is everything that you rail about and on, and Ted's saying Le Pen could win. I mean, do you think this is what we're going to see going forward in the upcoming future elections in Europe? Like, this is what they need?
Well, it's what they need, but I don't think should be allowed to win. And here's what I mean by that. I think that the European Union, they'll invalidate the election just like what they did in Romania. I mean, people have got to remember it.
But that's Romania. This is freaking France.
They can't do that to France.
Why not?
Fucking France.
Listen, it doesn't matter who votes. It matters who counts the votes. I mean,
France counts the votes.
But who in France counts the votes? That's my question. Like, is it going to?
They're trusted. Okay, even the right wingers are not doubting. It's not like Donald Trump questioning the results. I mean, people don't in French, whether they're right or wrong, do not believe that that elections get cheated.
Well, just because they don't believe it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Okay, but it's not part of the conversation.
Granted,
so it doesn't matter.
Granted, no, I'm very cynical. Like I think I look around what's going on here, and I see that the institutions have fallen apart. I look what happened in Romania. If you're able to validate a guy who won an election not once but twice, no, sorry, you voted the wrong way because of Russia. It was Russian interference in the elections. It was foreign influence. And if you can do it with one,
by the way, it wasn't the EU. It was Romania's constitutional court invalidated that election. The EU didn't do it.
Yeah, I thought that the EU was involved with that though, with the allegations.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected though.
But France is too big for them to interfere with, I think.
I mean, don't forget the EU was a joint partnership initially between France and Germany. I mean, France is literally like Big Papa Bear in the EU. That's why it's in Brussels, which, is, as you would say, Belgium is not a real country.
Of course, it's a construct.
It's a buffer state between France and
Germany.
They
beat us in the World Cup, so there's...
Well, we had that coming, but
yeah, we did. So here's a question for you. Would Le Pen make a move to take France out of the EU? If her stand is French national sovereignty, you cannot have a sovereign state and be a member of the European Union.
She's been very clear that it's called Frexit, and she's been very clear that if the EU does not back off on its infringement on French sovereignty, that she would seek to a national referendum for Frexit.
Well, because I mean, if you're anti-immigration and the EU demands you have open borders, those two things that's a binary choice. You have one or the other. You can't have both.
Yeah, well,
with the EU Schengen agreement.
With the EU, you have to have open borders. Yeah.
Well, then that's a deal breaker. You cannot be a French national and say that "Vive la France," and then turn right around and say, "No, some international organization that's controlling my borders." That doesn't work.
Well, either you're a country or you're not. And personally, I think the EU is a fucking disaster. And you know, I was, as a French citizen, I voted against it initially, and my fellow French citizens, literally, I asked them, why you guys? They all voted for it, and I was like, why? And they're like, it's modern. I'm like, what the fuck is that even?
Because it's nouveau.
Yeah, like it's cool. I'm like,
oh, it's nouveau.
Who gives a shit? I mean, at least I could make the argument for it, which was the main point was to make it an economic bloc, not a political union, in order to, which the Brits were smart. They didn't join the political union, only the economic bloc, in order to compete with the Americans as a united trading bloc to have more global economic power. That's the main.
Well, that's one part I never understood. They kept pounds, but euros were also accepted.
Yeah, because they never joined. There's a political union in Brussels and with the parliament and all that, and then there's an economic union, which is the euro-denominated currency. The UK only joined the first one, not the second one.
Yeah.
France joined both. The other 26 countries joined both also. But it's never should have been a political union, and the political union is a nightmare. I mean, I'm not even even in favor of the economic union. I think it's a mistake. It caused hyperinflation.
The whole thing
in Portugal, in the pigs countries like Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain.
Well, it's left on steroids.
I mean, and then France and Germany had to subsidize the pigs. I mean, it was a disaster.
Yeah. So if France pulls out of the European Union, which by the way, I hope that it does. I hope that the French.
I'm with Robbie.
It won't, because the EU will make nice with the French.
Well, if Marine Le Pen is a French nationalist, she has to pull out of the European Union. You cannot have a nation and not control your borders.
She is a nationalist.
Then she's put her money where her mouth is and pull out. And if that happens, is that the end of the European Union?
No, because it's still 26 countries, and including some big ones like Germany.
Yeah, well, it's only Germany and France that are carrying the weight, bearing the brunt of all the shit that goes, all the fuckery that's happening, including our guest, Dr. Reese, is waiting in the virtual green room right now, and we're going to talk about whaling. But in Iceland, as you guys know, I fell in love with Iceland last year. That was before they decided to do whaling again. They approved whaling. That's what we're going to talk about. But Iceland wants to ascend into the EU.
I thought Iceland was already in the EU.
Now I was reading that they're trying to have an ascension into. I thought they were part of the EU too, but I don't know if they're a lady in waiting. I don't know. That's what I.
Oh, I guess that's weird. They had applied, and then they suspended. Yeah, then the process came to an end in 2013.
And actually, their whaling is what might keep them out.
Oh, they're part of the Schengen. They're part of the Schengen zone, though.
Yeah, I saw that, which is what's weird. So I don't know, but I would personally like to see the EU as for political reasons. Everyone should decide for themselves. I don't like that there's this one quasi-universal government telling all of these small little countries what to do, and especially because it's virtually run by the French and the Germans telling everybody else how to run their countries.
I mean, the only thing that's cool about it is that if you're you're born into, you live in one country, you can go work or live seamlessly in another European country, sort of like living in the Soviet Union. You pack up and, if you're born in Romania, you're like, fuck Romania. I can go live in Italy, no problem. And you can do that. I mean, it's very convenient. I'm not sure it's necessarily, I can think of all the disadvantages to it.
Well, the big thing is that you're taking away jobs to the people who live in those countries. It's the same problem we have here with H-1B visas.
Yeah.
I mean, I should be competing against other Americans, not the whole world.
Right.
And the other, and plus it causes brain drain to countries that, people stuck around,
more sexy countries.
Yeah. You have everyone racing. Although what's funny is you don't really see those many. The population flows are smaller than you think. because the cultural ties, if you're Bulgarian, you speak Bulgarian, you don't speak Italian, and your family and your friends live there. You're probably not going to just up and go to Italy.
Yeah. Well, with that, let's bring in a friend of the show, our favorite scientist, Dr. Reese Halter.
Can you see me? Am I there?
Hold on here. Hold on.
What do I need to do? Get more.
Nope. One second, Dr. Reese. We're having technical difficulties on my part. Hold on here.
There we are.
There's Dr. Reese. There you are.
So I'm inside today. Inside.
I see that. I was
for a moment.
Inside.
For a moment. Look, apropos of the EU and people being part of the community, we're all Earthlings, right? We've got to figure this. We've got to get along somehow, some way, somehow. The step one is not to massacre the remaining wilderness on the planet. We've talked of this again and again. The biggest concern right now is when nations go rogue. Iceland and Norway and Japan, for the moment, are rogue. They're massacring whales. This has gone on and on and on. Somewhere between 3 and I say closer to 5, my colleagues try to pull my heels down. Somewhere between 3 and 5 million whales have been massacred on our planet by human beings. The whales, apart from everything else, they're astonishing size. They have no intent to harm us. They are part of nature's climate solution. They help. They fertilize the oceans. They regrow phytoplankton that we are missing. 40% of the oxygen-bearing planetary shield is gone. The whales are the maintainers of that. Where there are whales, there are healthy fisheries, and each whale, on average, is pulling down in their lifetime some 30 to 35 tons. Blue whales more like 60 tons. Blue and fin whales more like 60 tons of carbon when 100 years in the oceans. When they fall to the floor of the oceans, it takes another 100 years for their bodies to be digested by trillions of organisms, and that carbon goes into the ocean floor. The whales are central. The massacring of these beasts is so brutal, ladies and gentlemen. They may be in excruciating pain for up to 25 or 30 minutes before they expire. There's no abattoir in any country on the planet that would allow this. And worse, neither Iceland, Japan, nor Norway are starving. These animals are smashed up into pet foods. It's so wrong. In Iceland, the thrust of this conversation, the billionaire Christian Loftinson is losing money on every whale he kills and ships to Japan. They're not eating them in Iceland. They're turning them into dog food in Japan for this maniac. And what? And what? By the way, they've got people go to Iceland to whale watch. The tourism in Iceland is over 3 billion annually, and this sociopath is spitting in the face of tourism. Yeah. And incidentally, I just want to say this, incidentally, on tape, they have Loftinson and the former Prime Minister of Iceland on tape. Loftinson is saying, look, it's payback time. I want to kill whales. and you're going to give me the permits to kill the whales. And the former prime minister said, oh, okay, well, you done deal. What the hell? The International Whaling Commission says no to killing fin whales. This guy's already killed over 1,000 fin whales in the last 15 years. So the good news is Captain Paul Watson's foundation, the Bandera boat, led by a brave, intrepid defenders, are up there trying to interfere with the 2 whaling ships. They've already killed 11.
Right there.
They've already killed 11 fins. They want to kill about 150 fins this year and 160 minkies, the little smaller whales. It's insane. Rod Coronado is the campaign leader. Rod, by the way, is tougher than nails. Rod was part of the crew in 1986 that sank some of the Icelandic whaling fleet in port and got away. But he's a warrior.
Dr. Reese, my family and I, we just went to Iceland last year to do the sightseeing and all of that. And I fell in love with the place. I'm horrified to learn that this is what they're resuming now. It was really good news that they stopped doing this, less than 10 years ago. But why they stopped doing it in, I think, 2017 or 18 or something like that? Why are they resuming? Is it that profitable? I mean, you just said the guy was losing money.
No, he's losing money on every whale. There's a sickness. He's a billionaire. He's 83 years old. He's got a sense of entitlement. His father had a whaling company. He's worked on whaling ships and around the whales for the majority of his life. And he has a hatred of the whales. So there are only 2 kinds of people on this planet: those that love our Mother Earth, and those that do not. This guy does not love our planet and our creatures, and unilaterally, because he's a billionaire, one of these oligarchs, again, making their own rules, buying their way here, there, and everywhere, and enough is enough. And
wait, Dr. Reese, why would anyone hate whales? I mean, no one's ever been attacked or eaten. I mean, I know there's Job, but even he got out of it. Nobody's ever been, whales don't fuck with anyone, as you point out. I mean, I could see someone stupidly being against tigers, let's say, because people have been eaten by tigers. But whales don't hurt anyone. I mean, what on earth? I mean, it'd be stupid to hate tigers. Tigers are just being tigers. But why? What's this antipathy for?
He's a sociopath. And he's he's 83. He's an oligarch, and oligarchs, I don't care what country they're in, they do what they want. They order the governments around.
But if there's no profit motive, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a hatred. It's just a sense. I don't know why. I mean, thankfully, I can't go there. I don't know.
I'm not a hunter. I think it's kind of gross. All these wealthy people go on these African safaris to hunt. I think a lot of it has to do with the psychology of being like, I'm the master of the universe. Yeah. I'm man. And I can kill these giant. Yeah, I can kill these giant creatures that are much bigger than me that could ordinarily kill me, but I have, this.
Well, they don't.
This tool, bang bang.
But they don't.
It's so brutal. I mean, you've never. I wouldn't wish.
What does it look like, Dr. Reese? What is this? What is whaling today? What does that look like? I mean, is it just
what does it look like? It's like fisheries today. What does it look like? They got military grade sonar. They use satellites overhead, and they hunt these creatures with bazooka-like cannons that have penthrite-tipped grenades that hit the whale, explode in the whale. It cries. The scream is something that Steven Spielberg couldn't even mimic in the worst horror movie. And they scream, and they in agony for maybe up to 25 minutes. It is fucking brutal, and it's fucking insane, and there's no reason. And there, look, the reason we have laws is so that bad shit can't happen, but laws are only as good as A, the people that enforce it, and B, the consequences, right? So if a billionaire is fined $1 million, peanuts. If a billionaire or a billion, and these corporations, so what ultimately conservationists and all earthlings are hoping for here is that all life forms have personhood rights, just like corporations, meaning that you can't just go and eradicate everything. Because let me remind the audience, we're in the first mass extermination, and it is accelerating. That is, humans are deliberately wiping creatures off the planet. And it just cannot go on. The animals are all the animals. Every living form of life is integral to the health and well-being of our planet. And we just, every day, we're wiping things out with impunity.
Dr. Rees, I have a couple questions. First of all, why would there be any reason, grounds for optimism in terms of obtaining legal personhood for animals, considering the Happy the elephant case at the Bronx Zoo? Happy died recently, and I think she was 57 years old, and basically she was denied by the New York State Supreme Court personhood. The case died there, and then my other question would be, like, if, I guess this is a concern that carnivores would have. Let's just say that personhood were achievable by sentient animals. Like, who draws the line, right? Like, so what's to prevent, say, sheep or goats or cows or other like livestock that are killed and eaten every day by Americans? What would, we know they're sentient. I mean, what would prevent them from achieving personhood? Could that make eating meat effectively illegal?
Yeah, well, I hope that could, but the ranchers certainly wouldn't. Look, what's happening around the planet very slowly, albeit, is ecosystems. For instance, in Quebec, they've given personhood rights to a little forest. In New Zealand, they've given a river personhood rights. So all the life forms in those particular biomes have a chance of protection. Of course, there are regulations around hunting and whatever other human activities are supposedly taking place or not, but at least there's a platform in place to try to protect some areas. So yeah, I mean, obviously not every creature is going to get personhood rights, but by the same token, if every corporation has personhood rights, why shouldn't nature have personhood rights?
I agree. I'm just wondering about, like, the courts obviously seem to feel, not really based on legal reasoning that I was able to understand. I read the Happy decision. It's gobbledygook. It makes no sense. It's purely basically, we are ruling against you because we just don't want to rule for you. It's not really, it doesn't have any basis in legal reasoning or rational reasoning. But I mean, courts do that all the time. They're just like, well, we're just no. I mean, what makes you think they could change their mind?
Well, they can. I remember in Malibu, all cetaceans, whales, dolphins, and porpoises have personhood rights. In India, some of the cetaceans do, although in both of the seas on the east and west coast, the fisheries are massacring as bycatch. 50, 60,000 dolphins a year in both of the bays, the Sea and the Bay of Bengal. So yeah, it's very gooey. It's very gooey, but at the end of the day, we have to learn to try to get along together. The enforcement is very difficult, but the animals are really getting beaten up. They're massacred, and enough is enough. I can't give the credit to these brave defenders at Captain Paul Watson's foundation to go into the ocean against the Icelandic whalers, or in the Southern Ocean against the insane krill farming or krill slaughter, these tiny little creatures that make up they're the linchpin of the entire Southern Ocean, that are being harvested to then feed these fish farms 4 pounds of krill to get 1 pound of farmed salmon. It's all subsidized. It's all a mess, and it's all disassembling whatever life forms and systems we have. Let me remind everybody that our planet is so overheated. If I'm jumping around, I understand, but temperature is rising. If you look at Europe, southwestern Europe has its third heat dome right now. The ice cap in the Southern Ocean is as low as it's ever been. The little krill that live in the ocean, that feed everything from the blue whales to the penguins to the seabirds. They need that sea ice. The sea ice is where they make a living. There's no sea ice. The krill populations are down. The whales are in trouble. The sea life is in trouble. And given that this is all happening, to just go to the ocean to massacre from krill, these tiny little creatures, to fin whales, the second largest whale on the planet, just because we can, is absolute insanity right now at this time where we have to hunker down. I guess the real frustration for most of the citizens of this planet is, first of all, we're not getting a real loud, clear picture of what is happening. And it is not business as usual. We have a mess in the United States of America. Our mess has leaked all over this beautiful planet. And people like the bad guys, I don't need to name them, the bad world leaders, they're making hay at our expense. And it's very, very disconcerting to see that we have temporarily abdicated our role as a leader with our leading and leadership in the United States. Until recently, we tried to hold together this situation. It's I don't want to say it's gone to hell in a handbasket, but it's damn near like that, and nature is copying it really badly.
Yeah, Dr. Reese, I just want to point out what we're looking at on the screen to the audience, and to those who might be listening only without viewing what's happening on the screen. So I have up Captain Paul Watson's Instagram, showing the Bandero, his little Bandero arriving in Iceland. This is their little ship. And at some point we'll see their ship roll up against the giant whaling ship. Right there, where we're seeing, well, the Coast Guard, that's the Coast Guard, that's the Icelandic Coast Guard cruising with them. This is Captain Paul's crew, I think. And they're all talking about what's going on out there and what they're seeing. And then over here, I'm going to share this one. This one's kind of gruesome. Whale number 13. Look at this big, look at this thing. Look at this.
That's
this
a
is
fin
fin
whale. Yeah, it's a fin whale, the second largest creature to ever live on planet Earth. Oh.
Holy moly, that thing is, I didn't realize they were that big.
Oh yeah.
But now we have a scientist in the audience. He's a regular in the audience, Dr.
Good.
Reese, and he says he wouldn't be opposed to, if it was an indigenous tribe or something that was hunting the whales, but to see this,
Why is that
I mean,
why is that okay for some scientists? I mean, okay, I mean, frankly, if it's an indigenous tribe, it's due to like a religious or cultural belief. But if a
well, then it would,
religious or
it's for the tribe.
we used to do human sacrifice. I mean, why? Why do we have to do it?
I don't know, but I will say this, and this is a clarion call. Anyone who is eating anything from any ocean or any river or any lake or any water body, be forewarned. They are eating millions of different poisons, not thousands, millions. Now, I just want to back up. Every day on the chemical registry in the United States of America, every business day, 25,000 new chemicals are being registered. Now, they're not all coming to market, but there are so many chemicals on the Great Barrier Reef or in the North Pole that scientists can't even identify them. Yes, they're in a registry, but that registry isn't made available to everybody at their fingertips. The amount of glyphosate in the oceans, off the charts. The amount of nerve poisons, the neonicotinoids and sulflactofluors, etc., off the charts. DDT, off the charts. PCBs, off the charts. And we're apex predators, meaning that a bite of a fin whale or a minke or any can biomagnify 1,000,000 times up in the human body. Why in heaven's name would anyone knowingly eat thousands or tens of thousands or millions of poisons in every morsel of food? For heaven's sakes, if you're a parent, why would you feed your children poison? And there is no answer. And it's time that we wake the fuck up. What we do to nature, we do to ourselves.
Another weird thing that that Captain Watson's foundation has put up was here's them dragging in the fin whales. I mean, this is obviously very different than a native tribe that would be hunting one whale and probably in an indigenous old school
isn't that
way.
one too many though?
But
Yeah.
you can argue that, but I'm saying there's a difference between this and commercial. I mean, look at this, the harpooning, and then there's the start of. Let me start this video over so you can see. That is one of the fishermen playing with the genitals of a dead.
There's the sociopaths. I mean, they're all
gross. So weird.
Dr. Reese, how many whales do we know? Like what the population decline has been? Like how many whales are there now in the aggregate? How many species are there? How many did there used to be, let's say 300 years ago?
Well, thankfully, we've not exterminated all the whales, but we've tried. The whale populations have, with commercial whaling, thank heavens, backing off from the peak in the 50s, 40s, 30s, 40s. We took a break during the war. We bombed everything in the water. The whales, to the best of their ability, have been able to make comebacks, but there's 13 million miles of a couple of billion hooks in the oceans right now. So everything that's swimming in the ocean, pretty much, if it isn't caught, it's scarred. There are floating death nets. It's insane what we're doing to the ocean. So yeah, the whales have tried to make a little bit of a comeback. As for the numbers, they estimate, but do we know what's in the entire oceans? No. And as I said earlier, the whales are helping us make a living on the planet. The planet is in dire straits. Dire straits. This isn't sort of, oh yeah, in 2100 we'll be all right. No, we will not. We will not. We're overheating at a rate that is absolutely off the charts. The planet has, in a couple of billion years, our analog, it has never heated this quickly. Everything on this planet has a temperature range. This is turning uglier and uglier. And just to kill animals because we can? Really? Wake up, go to Mars, and basically fuck off. If you can't live on this planet and help all forms of life, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. And as you were coming onto the show, Dr. Rees, we were talking about the EU, and there are a lot of things mostly everything I disagree with the EU. However, one thing I do agree with is that in order to be a member of the European Union, you cannot participate in whaling. So if Iceland wants to join the EU, then the EU should apply pressure on Iceland to stop doing this. And I fell in love with Iceland last year. I can't believe that they're like back to doing. I'm so glad that I went on a year that this was still illegal. So to see them going back to doing this, well, the EU should apply pressure on this country to say, if you want to join, you guys got to cut this shit out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd add to that, this will really put me in the Donecker. The billionaires need to leave, all of them. There's almost 4,000 of them, or it could be a hair over on our planet. They need to all get on Elon's shitty U.S. government subsidized SpaceX crap and fuck off to Mars. They're ruining the planet. They really they are ruining the planet. They're running the planet. Democracy is really hanging on, thankfully, by a spider's web, which is strong, but it's being pushed right to the limit, and it's too much. It's too much for the rest of us. It's too much for the animal kingdom, and bring back the joy, bring back happiness, bring back health. If you want to be healthy, here's the rub. Find a tree, hug a tree. If you have a green space, spend a half hour a day in the green space and just love this planet. Do anything, but please don't harm the planet knowingly.
Go stick your toes in some sand or some grass or dirt. We call that grounding in the hippy dippy yogi community. And if you guys want to learn more about any of the stuff that Dr. Rees was talking about, you can go to his website. You can order a book because Dr. Rees makes science digestible for us non-science folks like myself. You can go to drrees.com right here. This is just a whole bunch of his different book covers. And he'll autograph it for you and send it to you.
Yeah, I will.
You totally will. There it is, the whale stuff right there.
Ted in Manila, thanks for listening to me rant.
Thank you for coming on.
We just need to all band together. We're a big family. It's okay to disagree and move on, but we're a big family. Families have ups and downs, but we're all family. And in our country, I don't care whether you're seventh generation or first generation. The Aussies call it a bitzer. You're a bit of this and a bit of that. We're all a big family, right? And that's what makes us a little weird, but inclusive, right? We're all family. We are all family.
Especially with these sentient whales. Oh, heartbreaking. I just told the story the other day. Do you remember this story, Dr. Rees, a few years ago? I forget what kind of whale she was, but a mama whale that lost her baby calf, and she dragged him around with her for like a week because she wasn't ready to say goodbye to him.
72 days, that was an orca in the Salish Sea. Oh my gosh. They grieve. Animals grieve.
Yeah.
They grieve at the loss. They're just like us.
I know. It's
and
so sad.
and we are the only known meaningful planet in our galaxy. There may be 400 billion other red stars, and in just a corner of Andromeda, another couple trillion red stars. We are the only meaningful planet. It's incumbent to be aware, and the three most important words are kindness, kindness, and kindness.
Perfect place to leave it. Go to drreese.com, you guys. Go support Dr. Reese, his continued conservation efforts, and learn about all this stuff that he's talking about. Because I've gotten a free education from Dr. Reese over the past 12 years or so that I've known him. So thank you so much for bringing this to our attention, Dr. Reese. And especially, it pains me that it's Iceland, because I fell in love with Iceland last year. I went hiking, took my son up the mountain, and we all loved it, and I hate to hear that this place is doing this. So thank you so much for bringing it to our attention.
As always, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Dr. Reese.
Thanks, Dr. Reese.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. All right. Ugh, heartbreaking stuff. Oh, the images, Ted. The images of just horrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's really, I usually am one to observe and maybe make a carve out for like indigenous peoples and their cultures and whatever.
I thought
but
about
not
that. It's very liberal to be like, oh, the indigenous people. But I'm like, if indigenous people do stupid shit, then no.
Yeah.
Indigenous people are still
the Aztecs used to throw people into volcanoes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like human beings do stupid things. It's not unique to any particular culture. So, why give them any
no exceptions.
No.
Yeah, no exceptions. Robbie, before we go, do we have an ad to hit? Do we have to do any of that?
Nope. We lost the ad, but I did find a tiny little channel with exactly one person. I'm pretty sure it is the streamer. So we'll be closing that metric today, and also rating this lowly human being.
So we're gonna do the kindness thing and raid a little one-person channel right now and make their day. So go say hi to that person and help them stay on Rumble before Rumble does the big call.
Yeah, it's true. It's the purge.
Yeah.
It really is. Thanks, everybody. Happy Weird Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Q&A show coming up at 12 noon.
Adios, friends. Bye.